So the one we wanted to get into was that one. It's called Love Has Won, The Cult of Mother God. Came out in 2023. You want to give us a breakdown of that?
Sure. Just what I can remember off the top of my head. I watched it a couple weeks ago, so excuse me if I'm like misspeaking a little bit, but generally there was a white woman. What was her name again? I already forgot.
I hear it. Amy Carlson.
Amy, okay. And this Amy person, ultimately, she ends up creating a cult based off of her being this mother god. And she was able to rake in really just troubled people who wanted a place to belong, who needed a place to live, who were also on the same level of like hippy dippy ideology that they were on.
But like not even necessarily, right? She pulls it. People entered her cult and through all different ways, which is
yeah. So how she herself got into the whole new age spirituality was through ecstasy. She had never felt like whatever ecstasy makes you feel like, and from there she just is totally removed from I guess like what they refer to as like the material world, and she ends up marrying another hippie, and then she ends up with another hippie, and then from there she starts talking on YouTube and gets a internet following, and then she links up with other people who are on the same wave as her, and eventually she links up with a guy who has a marketing perspective, and he's like, well, let's call it Love Has Won. And so Love Has Won gained a large internet following.
And it's like a business too, right? They're like selling products like soaps and shit.
Eventually. It starts off as donations at first.
Wow.
Where they're asking random people on the internet, please donate to our cause.
These decrees have always been ever present, meaning they've always been here. Now, it's up to all of us to put this into our experience. Creation in motion. For this is absolutely the exact right moment of our complete freedom, if we choose. And that moment is now. Consciousness on the planet is being dissolved, which includes all of the attachments to illusion. As the unconsciousness transforms, you begin remembering that you are one with all which is, and that is. And this includes everything. This is universal love.
And so eventually they create a gathering, and then that's like kind of where like the core group begins. And so then that's when they're like live streaming all the time and raking in donations, and then they're incentivized by money and to keep weed on the table to begin selling their stupid potions, which are poison.
Right.
And
right.
so eventually there's another character that gets introduced, and he is the father god, and he is just like the craziest looking character. Like, he is not wearing a shirt. He has long, beautiful hair.
Stop.
It looks so shiny.
He looks so fucking gross. It's like you can smell him through the screen.
It was
like,
gross. So he had like minis with like Fireball on the like they bought him pizza. They're at a roadside motel. And he's just so lost in the sauce with himself. And he also believes that he is the father god. He believes that he killed the mother god by draining her energy, which everyone in this cult seems to agree that's what he did. But like, come on, like it doesn't have to be so hokey. Like, he literally, like, you don't have to be so hokey to acknowledge that this like fucking abuser comes into your house and like fucking kills you by making you spiral into the pits that she did. But yeah, so that's kind of that's what happened, and it ultimately ends up with her and her cult keeping her alive.
So, okay, well,
using...
real backtracking, for a quick sec. The whole basis of this cult is just party, partying all the time. She becomes an alcoholic. She gets cirrhosis. She starts dying. And that's how she dies.
They use the poison potions,
which is colloidal silver. It's not for human consumption.
No, yeah, and they're using it to alleviate her cirrhosis, and it doesn't work. It makes it worse. And they're partying all the time because she's like creating these like delusions to everyone that she's using these tools to connect with God. And oh my God, that's even the craziest part too. She's also supposedly talking a direct connection to God, but also other people who have passed away, like Robin Williams. And then they're like, oh, but wait, there's also living ones too, like Donald Trump. She has Donald Trump as her list of people who she's connected with. And it's so funny because they're like, oh, she's going to connect with them. And like, she's clearly just passed out, like on her bed, like passed out from drinking and smoking and partying. And
kind of narrowing it out though, I mean, she makes these claims that she claims she's White Buffalo Calf Woman. She claimed that she was Pele, the goddess. They fucking Kanaka people booted her cult off their lands. It was badass. The mayor got involved. The mayor delivered a decree. Where were they? Where were they? Were they in Maui? To look up exactly.
Yeah, let me look it up, because if it was in Maui, that's fucking crazy.
It might have been, yeah.
Let me see. Hawaii Mother God, Google.
But goes to show what happens when you make those claims, and you're posted up on Native people's lands. Let's see. In Kauai, that's where they were.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got kicked out. There was huge protests right outside the place that they were staying, led by Kanaka people and allies. They, the city literally booted them out because of the disrespectful ass claims that were being made. Soon after she died.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And she was it seemed like in the end she was like desperate to like maintain control over this cult, so she was coming up with these new stories about how these like crazy things were going to happen. Like she said that there was going to be a hole in the ocean, and so that's why they had to go to Hawaii.
To us and to everybody that supports the group, the team, she is Mother God, Mother of all creation, Mother Earth.
It's that belief which created problems while Carlson stayed on the island of Kauai.
What really I feel triggered them was, they have a fire goddess there, which I feel is their version of the divine mother.
Leading local authorities in Hawaii to call the group a cult.
That word has a very negative connotation, and I feel it's used against people in a way just of something they don't understand and maybe just can't accept.
Days leading to the group's departure, locals gathered outside of the house, protesting their presence on the island.
They were telling us that we were invading them and we were somehow trying to destroy their culture when we weren't. The level of violence that it rose to was pretty alarming.
Just broke the window right now with the mouse trap.
Video shows protesters throwing objects at the home the group was renting.
We had just bought her a brand new car, which was the first new car she had had in probably 15 years, and they destroyed the entire vehicle.
And in all of that, I believe her family was trying to rescue her, and they ended up calling Dr. Phil for help, thinking that they would actually like help her. And they basically just exploited her story and used it for what it was. And that's when Kanaka Male like finds out that she is on their island. And during what seemed like a short amount of time she was there, she again adopts a new Native identity to claim.
Yeah.
Not even identity, like deity to claim, like
Yeah.
so fucked up. It was so gross, but that was the best part. I was not prepared for that.
Yeah.
I was
something
not,
so badass.
They leave it on a cliffhanger, and like you see your car just like all bashed, and like the aunties are just like, "Go take care of your kids."
Yup.
I was like, "Let's go."
It was dope. I was like, that's exactly what happens. Every white person should know that that's what's gonna happen to you. You're gonna get your shit rocked. You're gonna get your shit rocked. I wish natives here were like that. Once again, I'm wishing we were taking notes from Kanaka people instead of letting them into our homes on feast day when they're doing disgusting shit, making a mockery of our ways, taking notes at what they see at our feast days, and having the audacity to act like our friends.
Yeah. No. In the last years of the Boy Scouts of America, like thank God they like are not an organization anymore, but I had such a hard time like convincing other Pueblo people to be angry about them, and I had such a hard time like being like, why are you not angry about this?
Right. And the common response is like, oh, haha, like, just don't pay attention to it. Haha. And to me, that just only shows like you don't think that justice can be served. You don't think you deserve justice. You're not willing to stand up for yourself. You're not willing to protect the things that we hold most sacred. And why not? Do you think the damage is done?
Like you're
it's not worth stopping.
That moment in the Mother God story, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting to see indigenous people boot this fucking cult the hell out of their island and their lands. But what that also showed me is that it's always going to be the indigenous people to like clean up this mess, to like create sense, to like maintain a material clarity in our own lands. And like we know these places are sacred, like we know why, and we know the stories, we have the connection, and like we defend that sacredness in all of its like pure form, and not this and like don't allow this perversion to happen. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like it also brought me to like another thought of how it's indigenous people who make up 80% of the world's biodiversity,
and who protect 80% of the world's biodiversity. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And it was just like a surprising angle to it was. I was just surprised to like have those thoughts while watching the documentary.
Yeah.
And then it brought me to like a more, I don't know. Sometimes I'll just like get on like Hulu or HBO, whatever platform is available at the time, and I seemingly just am like, well, let's see what white people are up to today.
It's hard for me to take interest in white people shit. I'm mostly just disgusted and don't like avert my gaze. But it's important to explore their ideology. It's important to look at how it got here, right? Like that's what we do, and like we're hoping this episode can kind of get into that. Like